What is going on, everybody, and welcome to another Beta Memoirs and another day of chop. Yes, I was talking about this in the beginning of the week. I think a lot of chop is coming forward. We did have a slow bleed off towards the beginning of the day, and then that last power hour, we had a push up, kind of just having us sit at break even. I've talked about this yesterday on the weekly update. We are ultimately waiting for the minutes, the FMO minutes, the Fed minutes, Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think, again, we will have another day of chop tomorrow. We have been seeing a lot of fake outs, a lot of pump and dumps in the morning in that first hour or so. But just keep in mind that I think ultimately there's a lot of things that I think want to run, but ultimately I think we are waiting. We're waiting for something. I don't know if it's the minutes. Ultimately, consumer confidence needs to come back. I think a lot of the different investors are very hesitant to go heavy or long on anything at this point, because of uncertainty. When there is uncertainty in the markets, we do get a lot of this chop until we get answers. And then considering last week that everything changed with the Fed, that they didn't see inflation, now that they do see the inflation, what is the next step? Are we going to actually see Powell come out and retract what he's been saying and start actually increasing the rates? And I think at that point we could see a little bit more of a correction, but who knows when that will happen. I think Wednesday will give us some more information, and then we can press forward from that point. So let me go ahead and bring up the charts today. So as today, looking at Square, spine itself, right? There's nothing really much to see. We essentially played chop. It actually, at one point, it looked like on this particular candle, it looked like SPY was essentially done. It was getting ready to turn over. And then we had this massive rip back up. It's not that massive, but it was still a big enough move to keep us and hold us in a more comfortable position, I think, ultimately. Actually, I started thinking more bearish today, to be honest, because of just the way market is in general. On the daily for the markets, we are still below the Bollinger Band. I was hoping we'd be above that, hoping we'd be above this linear regression line. We're kind of close to it as well. Typically, what I've always talked about is that we do come down when we break the 20 and break the middle of the Bollinger Band. We'll test that 50, and then we'll come back up and retest the 20 from underneath before more selling typically happens. Now, is that for certain? I don't know. But ultimately, in my experience, it's been about 9 out of 10 times that does happen. It retests it from the bottom, and then it comes back down lower. So just something to keep in mind. We have to see how tomorrow plays out. And maybe ultimately what we get Wednesday will really determine if that is what is the case here. Now, QQQ looks really bad. There's no easy way of putting this, right? QQQ looks rough. It's in a bad position. We've retested. We've sold today, although we've pushed back up on QQQ. On the daily, it looks bad. Everything on the daily looks pretty rough for the most part. We did go back below the 200, which wasn't really something I wanted to see. Are we going for new lows here? It could be possible. Again, it depends how we open tomorrow. I think tomorrow we actually might see some selling in anticipation for what's to come on Wednesday. I know I said about chop today. I was actually expecting a little bit more of a push today and then kind of chop, but we just kind of sold and then had the slight push at the end of the day and then chop. Or chop majority of the morning. So being said, it'd be interesting to see where QQQ is. The VIX is selling off, so that is good to see. The dollar is holding, but metals have been TLT actually starting to sell here again. Definitely not a good sign. If this starts really selling again, if the bonds really start moving, having dramatic moves, the market will follow. Typically, if if it goes up or down, it's not really that big of a deal, just so long as the moves aren't dramatic. So it'll be interesting to see. This candle just started selling off right after close. So tomorrow we maybe open up down. Could be a good possibility. So you have to see how that works out. Gold in itself. Gold had a nice push today. It's been pushing up. I haven't traded gold or any of the metals in a while. I think last year was actually the last time I did. During the sell-off, I was messing with gold and silver during the pandemic. But ultimately, gold started to push to higher highs here. I mean, I had a nice little bull flag. I didn't catch it because, again, I haven't been really looking at gold. I think there's bigger, better moves. Although right now, looking for stuff that goes up. You may look back at gold and commodities. Ultimately, silver had a nice rip today. Could be looking at pullbacks here as well. So that's something to keep in mind. Depending going forward, the crypto crash over the weekend because of Elon. You can blame it on really whatever you want. It was ready for some kind of correction because it was just going parabolic for the crypto space. So I think a lot of that movies might have shifted back over to gold and silver. Maybe that's why I haven't seen a lot of big moves from gold and silver in a while. But ultimately being said, let's bring up the watch list for the week. I actually do want to add Tesla. I was debating putting Tesla on here, but I'm going with the top three again. As far as like value plays, it's hard to tell. A lot of the value plays I did have, let me keep this up for a second. A lot of the value plays I do have, they've already kind of like moved. We do have a lot of earnings tomorrow. We have Walmart and Tesla, or Walmart and Target, tomorrow. So I may look for continuation on those if those do very well. That'd be something I'll be looking forward to. Right now, what I'm trying to find is things with momentum. I think that's really what matters. If you are day trading, you need to find stuff with momentum, trying to grab bottoms and hoping they go back up, especially things like Tesla, Apple, and Facebook. It's definitely difficult because of the chop and a lot of different policies that the market is waiting on. So being said, those are the ones I got. We'll just go ahead and look at Tesla first. On the daily, I did not like this candle here. The candle actually closed below 200, the 200 moving average. I essentially said this was a good sign that it was above it the last Friday, but then only today to sink below that and then to actually close below it. So I'm kind of a little wary about Tesla and where it goes. The thing is the market is so news driven right now. This could actually pop back over again. Elon had a lot of bad things as far as crypto over the weekend. So that may have been because of the selling, maybe in a little bit of selling there. Maybe that's why we dropped back below. All it takes is some kind of news and Tesla can pop right back over that and start running. So that's something I want to keep an eye on tomorrow. Again, there's a lot of room here, a lot of open space here, which is what I look for. Essentially pivot from where it is closed now until that next line. There's essentially no other resistance between here and 646. So really want to see what this does tomorrow. Facebook in itself, it looks fantastic on the daily. Hopefully we can get a candle above this wedge here and get a breakout, possibly a retest tomorrow, especially if we do get any kind of selling tomorrow because of anticipation for Wednesday. If we do get a pop and pullback, I'll be looking for that pullback, hopefully trying to swing that overnight. I don't want to hold anything into the report on Wednesday. I think there's going to be a lot of whipsaw. And if you're doing a contract, you definitely get tore up pretty bad on contracts. But again, Facebook had a nice rip in the close. And so I'm really seeing, I actually played this today. I scalped this today. It came down. It had perfect support here at the 200. So I did grab this and catch this ride back up. So that was a small scalp I did have today. I also scalped Amazon on some puts today as well. So I had a little bit of cash flow today, but I'm ultimately looking for the bigger moves. And right now it's kind of hard to get bigger moves because our ranges are so tight. Commodities in themselves have had some bigger moves, but then again, they've also sold off pretty hard too. So I think you're kind of running the risk with the value. What I've definitely seen is the value compared to growth. The rotation has been really quick from one to the next. And so if you're sitting in value, you kind of you kind of get shafted because that I've seen the money, especially last week. That's one thing I noticed is it shifted over to growth very fast. It would seem within minutes of at different times of the day. So that's something to keep in mind. Tesla, I already did. Apple's the other one I got. Looking to see the break this wedge. I thought it would have this morning. I was looking for this, but it didn't hold, and it broke pretty quick, actually. And then, again, at one point, it really looked like the market was going to start selling. Then we had that push today. So tomorrow, keep an eye on this and see where Apple is tomorrow. Again, I want to stay with the leaders just to try to ride this out, right? Because I think ultimately what's going to happen, these ones will start jetting first, and they've already started showing that. Apple and Facebook have already started showing that. But ultimately, I think from this point, we have to really see, right? There are not only the ones I want to play, but there are also the lead indicators as far as what is going on in the growth space. So I definitely want to keep an eye on those. But I don't have any things on for the watch list as far as value. There's a lot today that did run. Again, I want to watch Walmart, Target tomorrow, HD and low. They kind of got chewed up today a little bit. Lumber, the lumber is inflated right now, so it's extremely high. But I've heard a lot of projects have gotten delayed. So because of that, people don't want to pay these high premiums for lumber. So they're delaying these projects. You might see low and HD get hit pretty badly here. CAT did fairly well today. I know airlines actually did really well today. AAL did anyway. I know the other ones are AAL did fantastic today. Had a nice little rip up. But BA in itself, BA, it chopped along with everything else, but did push towards the end of the day. UAL actually had a nice rip again today. The banks in themselves are slowly grinding up. I don't like playing banks, but ultimately, I think the slow grind will be interesting to see and where we go. We could break all-time highs tomorrow. BAC in JPM's already broken all-time highs, but BAC could be a possibility. Whirlpool was something I was looking at today, but it did break down below, which is not something I wanted, but it does have a nice support here and the 200. So I'll be watching this tomorrow to see if this does tag that. I want to try to get in some kind of value play here. I think Whirlpool would be a good one for that. But ultimately, Target, again, there was so much chop today. It was really hard to tell. There was a lot of pump and whipsaw coming out of the gates. So there's a lot of misdirection right now. Just trying to be wary, not trying to jump into anything. And I'm taking scalps for the most part. And very strategic. I try to give the market time because the market is again very uncertain. So you do get a lot of the whipsaw straight out of the gates. Again, today value was a great picture of that, right? You had this pump in the open, and then all of a sudden, after about 10 minutes in, and then it just completely dropped. All value. I saw this in pretty much all value. I had that pump, then we had a second pump with another drop, and then it just continued to sell for the rest of the day. But I do expect Walmart and Target to do very well. Amazon did well. I think these two would do just as well. And I think tomorrow would be a good continuation, considering that the earnings are in the morning. So that is something to keep in on watch. Save is actually lining up to be pretty good. Spirit Airlines, actually looking really good for the next couple of days. This is something I might actually watch tomorrow as well. It has been in this bullish box. I think if the candle does stay above this 35.10, we could get a nice gap up to 36.81 and then break that, and then we go back to 38.46. So I'm looking for that tomorrow. Value stocks, again, commodities. X had a nice bounce off of the daily. So steel, maybe one to be watching tomorrow. Copper had a nice actual rip today. I didn't jump in this, although I had thought about jumping in this today. I did not. But again, copper is starting to rip again. CVS could be another one. Here's another one too. Walgreens actually started dumping towards the end of the day, so that's something to keep in mind. So it is very rough waters out there, to be honest. That's why I try to stick to the beta stocks or the ones I'm more comfortable with, because I can anticipate when it moves a deviation or 2 standard deviations away from open. From that point, I'll typically take a move, whether it's long or short, depending on how, again, the stock is moving at that point. But ultimately understand that right now, to really kind of swing anything, it is hard, because you're getting a lot of misdirection. Again, there's so much uncertainty. Sometimes it's better just to walk away and let it play itself out until it gives you a good direction. And again, this week, I don't see that really happening until Wednesday, and then into I think Wednesday, Powell speaks as well on the minutes as well. The minutes come out at 2, and then Powell will speak at 2:30. And I think at that point, we'll get direction. I could see a more of an explosion on the backside of the week, as opposed to this beginning and front side of the week. So just keep that in mind and manage risk. And again, if it's too much, remember to step away, because that's always something you can do. So remember to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And until next time, I will see you guys later.